Awesome. Thank you so much. Charity Joy. The accent is Canadian, in case you're wondering. Everybody here thinks I'm American. My mother is. I am not. Actually, I am, technically. I am really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm trying to find the volume on this so that I can actually, other way. I am not going to tell you how to grab attention today. So if that's what you are here for in this session, you may leave. That's not what we're going to talk about. What we're going to talk about is attention in general. There will be enough people here this weekend telling you about how to get it. So I'm going to start with telling you a story. I am relatively new to England. I moved here 2 months ago, and just last weekend, 4 days ago, I was walking down the South Bank beside this bridge, and there's a series of stairs. How many have been on the South Bank, walked up and down the stairs? Okay, you know. So I'm walking up one of those stairs by the bridge, and I get to the top of the stairs, and I'm looking at the view, and out from right-hand side, this guy just like, ah! And I freeze. I absolutely freeze, and I have no idea what to do. And his buddy is giggling, and he's laughing, and he's like, oh man, you can't do that to people. And I'm literally sitting there like this. I have no idea how to respond. And in that idea of like fight, flight, freeze, right? I would like to think that I'm a fighter. Like, this is what I wanted to do. I've taken self-defense classes. I've boxercised. Like, I'm a tough lady. And this is what I look like instead. And it's embarrassing. And I'm disappointed in myself. But he had my attention. And I couldn't get him out of my head. I'm walking down the South Bank. I'm going to a show in the West End. And all I'm thinking about is this dude and him jumping out and screaming at me. And like, am I allowed to swear here? Like, why the fuck would you do that? What were you thinking? What were you thinking? And then I'm thinking, okay, there's two things that I want to do right now. One of them is I want to run after him, and I want to say, hey, you little, my favorite British term, you stupid muppet. If I was my nan, you would be in prison for murder right now because she would be dead on the street. Like, you were very fortunate that I have a strong heart. And then the other thing that I was thinking, because I've been to therapy and I know how to meditate and I like to think about the best in people, I was like, this kid has a lot of courage. Like, look at that exuberance and that potential and his ability to go out there and just live his best scary-ass life. And so I'm feeling really conflicted about how I feel in this moment and what this attention-grabbing situation has caused in me. And then I was reflecting on that, and I thought, you know what, this isn't the first time I've felt conflicted over the last several years about the things that have happened. How many of you remember a time before COVID? Yeah, it seems like a long time ago now, right? How many of you remember COVID? Yeah, distant memory. This was part of my COVID experience. This is what I remember about COVID. It was shocking, but it was warm. It was cozy. I had a lot of time to do this and ask this question. What am I doing with my life? Why does it matter? Why am I here? Where do I really want to be? And a time to reflect. Who else was reflecting during COVID? Anyone else asking those questions? Yeah, it was a good time to ask those questions. And just at the time when I was getting comfortable in a ritual of day drinking and binge watching and sourdough eating, the world decided to open up again. And I wasn't sure I was ready. And what was most surprising to me was what the world opened up to. The world opened up to a very different economy. The world opened up to a picture being worth 1,000 words that you cannot trust anymore. I used to just not trust the stuff my dad would send me in email. Now I can't trust anything that anyone sends me in an email because I don't know where that's coming from, but it certainly is grabbing attention. I woke up to this world. This is also attention grabbing and very interesting. I also woke up to a world where my friends who have children tell me about their children and what they're watching and the content that they're consuming and the amount of content that they have access to. I have one friend I work with, he says, I come downstairs in the morning and my daughter is drawing Disney characters. She's watching the how-to videos, very wholesome content. My son, on the other hand, he's just watching some crazy shit, like blah, blah. That's how he described it. I don't know what that is, but blah, blah. Content exists, and it's at our fingertips, and we have the choice. There is so much choice. And in this room, I know we are content creators. We are the people who are putting this stuff into this environment, and we have a choice. We always have a choice. I woke up to a world where my clicker worked. I did not wake up to that world, but in a moment, I'm sure it will. There it is. Also woke up to a world where you can have a Disney princess film hit the box office and kill it. Little Mermaid came out and just killed it at the box office. And I'm a big Disney fan. I worked at Disney for 10 years. A couple weeks later, Pixar, also Disney, really, really popular, comes to the box office and totally bails. Totally bails. Why? If you read the articles, why? Oh, why? Hearsay. The article says streaming service took a cut of where people are doing their attention. This maybe is worthy seeing in the theater. This is maybe worthy of waiting for subscription. The team also blames marketing. Marketing didn't tell the story of the story. Marketing told a different story. I've been there before with my marketing team. It's great. It's not great. And the other one was about tough love and quality. And I thought that was interesting. But this is the world that we wake up in. And this is not just happening in film. This is happening in my industry, in games. You have FIFA 23 that came out this year. EA Sports, awesome, killed it. Highest grossing FIFA in the history of FIFA, which is now Football Club Friends. So to get used to it and still buy it, it's going to be awesome. Highest grossing in the games industry, same thing though. The big titles are doing really, really well. We all did really well during COVID. What else are you going to do? You're going to eat sourdough and you're going to play video games. It was an awesome time for my industry. Captive audience. But not everybody is doing what FIFA is doing now, because games are also in subscription, and games are also being judged by the quality of their content or the length of the gameplay, and games that used to just put out a game and people are going to buy it. That is no longer the world that we live in. It is fascinating to me. Now, this isn't the first time I've gone through some disruption. How many of you have heard of Club Penguin? How many of you played Club Penguin? You could be my children, and I love this. My favorite part about speaking. 2005, Club Penguin launched in the world. 2006, I joined. 2007, we were acquired by the Walt Disney Company. Worked with Disney for 10 years. Club Penguin was a subscription service in 2005. We were able to convince parents that the price of $5 a month was basically the same as renting a DVD. That's the same time we used to rent DVDs. Same price, but you could entertain your kid for an entire month instead of just an evening. It was great. However, in 2007, this came out. It was great. But in 2008, this came out. And what was on the App Store in 2008? A whole bunch of free games. And now when you're asking a parent to pay $5 for one game or have hundreds of games for free on their phone, you have a hard sell. and a very interesting disruption to your industry. So that's a step back. Step forward to where we are today. Despite a lot of companies killing it, a lot of companies are not killing it. We've seen these headlines. It hasn't been particularly friendly for a lot of people in the big technology businesses. And so this is when I feel like this again. What do you do? Fight, flight, freeze in a world where things are so drastically changing. And then I think about this kid again, and I go, okay, kid energy. I got to get some of that kid energy again. If I was courageous and doing what all the kids are doing, what would I be doing? Well, I'd be feeling a little bit like this, and then I would turn to, oh wait, no. What a lot of companies are doing right now is they're not doing anything about it. We're going back into the boardroom and saying, you know what, we have the same 5-year strategic plan that we had pre-COVID, going through COVID, and post-COVID, as though nothing has changed. Everything has changed, my friends. It is a very different world that we live in. And my definition, everyone's definition of the status quo, right? Insanity, doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. The status quo right now, I do believe, is synonymous with insanity. And we need to be looking at things differently. So this brings me to, what are the kids doing? I thought this was an interesting common theme between two of the world's most recent self-made billionaires, dropped out of college. We see that a lot in the tech industry. But what was interesting to me in the articles was this idea that everything you need to learn, you can learn online. And I was like, yeah, that's right. We have a lot of access to a lot of information. Is all of that information correct? Is all of it information that you want to regurgitate? Well, I'll leave that to you. But I thought, okay, this brings me to today. I'm preparing for this speech. How do you grab attention in a fragmented world? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask ChatGPT. So that's what I do. So I'm going to prepare for this speech and ask ChatGPT. And guess what? I know it all. I know what ChatGPT said, and it still doesn't help me. Oh, you should know your audience. You should be innovative with your marketing. You should be building loyalty. You should be looking at how do you tell stories. It's like, we know this. We all know this. And this was my frustration. Everybody knows. This is what also came out. Everybody knows. Everybody's got an answer for you. Everybody's going to tell you the 5-step program of how you capture attention in the world. You're going to hear it here, and I'm not dissing what you're going to hear today. But everybody knows. And the truth is, if everybody knew, we would all be off on our yachts somewhere, because what we do is not simple. It's not easy. It's not binary. It's not black and white. It is gray. It is nuanced. It is challenging. If it was easy, we'd be here, or we'd be here for the fight, sitting next to Elon's mom, because that would be fun. But instead, we're here asking questions of, how do you do this? It's a good question. And my answer is, I don't know. I actually don't know. And you probably don't know either. And guess what? That's okay. Because I think one of the issues that we have today is that knowing is one of our biggest blockers. It is a death of creativity to say, I know. I once heard someone say that knowing is like looking in the rearview mirror and saying, I know there's a truck behind me. I know, so I don't have to look back there anymore. There's a truck behind you, but what's behind the truck? Right? If we're not curious about what's behind the truck, we don't know. We don't actually know. And so I want to rid the world of this sense of righteous knowing right now, because it is our curiosity that is going to get us through, and it is our curiosity that is going to help us make the right decisions moving forward. And so when I think about my life, and I encourage you to think about yours, it's like a donut, which is kind of cool, but it's more about, this is what I know, right? What I know is like the size of a sprinkle. What I know I don't know is kind of all the sprinkles. But what I don't even know that I don't even know is probably the size of the whole donut. And it is in the what I don't even know that the magic is, I imagine, to move forward, to change the world in the ways that we want to change the world. So I invite you to take a little bit of a step back with me. and a breath. And look in the mirror. And we're going to walk through just a couple questions, and then I'm going to wrap this up. First of all, we're going to remember who we are. We are magical creators. We are artists. We are explorers. We are the risk takers. We are experimenters. We are curious, hopeful, imaginative humans. That's what we are. And we who are sitting in this room are sitting in seats of privilege and power to make decisions around the way the world is going to be moving forward. The campaigns that we create, the products that we produce, the services and experiences that we design are going to create the future of this world. And what we have that ChatGPT does not have is the ability to ask very good, deep, and curious questions. Questions that Google can't answer, questions that ChatGPT can't answer. And it is that power of curiosity and not knowing. It is our curiosity that is going to move us forward. And so I want you to think now, we're going to do a little mind exercise. I want you to think about a problem you're trying to solve, a thing you're trying to create, maybe something you're trying to get out of this next couple of days, this afternoon. I want you to think about that. And I want you to ask yourself, what do I know that I know about this? And then I want you to ask, what do I know that I don't know about this? And let the curiosity guide you to the things you don't even know, because we're not going to ask that question, because you don't even know yet. And then I really want you to ask, what is it that you want? Really, really, what is it that we want? That kid on the street, like, scaring my nan to death, scaring me half to death. What do you want? Like, what is the purpose of that? We're asking people for their attention. What do we want? At the end of the day, I know in a lot of industries, we just want your money. Let's just be honest about that. I just want your money. I just want to give you a great experience that you trade for money. You know, like, we can be clear. I think we can be clear. One of the questions I'm always asking myself nowadays is, who do I need to be? This is a new world. These are new challenges. Who do I need to be to show up in this way? Who do I need to be to know the things that I don't even know? We have to change. The world is changing. We have to change. And then who do I need around me in order to do that? There's somebody, all of you know something I don't even know that I don't even know. Like, this is just rich with wealth. And I'm only going to get it if I'm curious. How am I going to know if I got what I want? You all know about measurement. I don't need to talk about that. But I want to talk about asking good questions about how am I going to get it? How am I going to get it? What is the most status quo way that I'm going to get it? That's boring. That's what a lot of us are doing. What is the fastest way that I'm going to get it? What is the most absurd way that I'm going to get it? What's the most marginally illegal way I'm going to get it? I'm not encouraging that, but that's a good brainstorm question. Let's ask yourself some good questions about the how to spark that curiosity and to help us lead into what the answers might be. And then at the end of the day, why? Again, let's go back to that COVID reflection. Why are we doing what we're doing? I had 3 too many deaths in my close circle this year. 4 deaths total, but one of them was really old, so that one was okay. That was my grandpa. But anytime we experience these losses in life, for me personally, I think about, like, why am I doing what I'm doing in my life? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we asking for attention? One life. That's all I know I have. I don't actually know that, but that's my assumption. Because at the end of the day, what we do impacts people. People. I do not know one business strategy, one product, one service, one anything that not at the end of the day comes back to people. They're not just numbers. They're not just likes. They're not just people with a game controller sitting in front of a screen for 3 hours. They're people. And I want to live in a world where people are respecting people. People are respecting people's time and attention. Where I can walk down the street in the South Bank and not have the shit scared out of me by some dude. And I would like my first response to be punching someone in the face instead of freezing, but I'm going to work on that later. So this is my ask to you. As we're looking to gain attention, as we're looking to make and have the privilege to make an impact on people's lives, let's have some respect, let's be thoughtful, and let curiosity be